Hi everybody, I'm Becky Hurst. I am a community engagement specialist, but I am today talking to you about the difference between community development and community engagement. Now the reason I'm doing this is that everybody is talking about community at the moment. Well, not everybody. I mean, some people are talking about health pandemics and the economy, but if we're not talking about health and we're not talking about the economy, we're talking about community. We are. What we're talking about is community connecting to each other, neighbours looking out for each other, online communities forming, connecting. So much stuff is happening in the world around community. And a question that I got asked last week was, what's the difference between community development and community engagement? So I thought I'd give you a quick explanation. Now, those of you that specialise in these two might get a bit frustrated in my very brief description, but I'm only going to try and keep this a few minutes long. So I would like you to think of community development as being about the people. It's about people in a community working together. It's about people in a community coming together, identifying what they need in their community and working on it together. It's about people sharing their skills within a community. It's about people identifying their skills within a community. It's about a community using the assets it's already got to make itself better, stronger, more resilient. But it's very much about people working together in that community. Okay, so that's community development. So if I'm a community development officer, my role, say I work for a local council or an organisation, my role is to support that community in doing those things. So connecting community members, helping them organise themselves, give ideas, give suggestions, support them. Very much community driven. And I like you to think about that as a bottom-up approach. Then we've got community engagement. Now, community engagement is a very interesting one. This is a term that has become more and more popular, especially here in Australia over the last decade. Probably the last couple of decades it's been emerging. Depends where you are in the world as to what you call it. Here we very much call it community engagement. In America you might call it public participation. In Canada I think you use public participation. Possibly a bit of civic engagement, civic participation. The UK, I think, is still very much on public consultation or maybe even a bit of engagement in there. Depending on where you are in the world, you might call it something different. But basically the theory is those traditional decision makers, so that's often the person with the power, will be the ones that need to engage a community in a decision that they're about to make. So here those traditional decision makers might be politicians, might be government agencies, might be local councils, might be organisations, might be mining organisations, might be energy resources, might be infrastructure providers, might be developers. All of these people are holding some kind of decision-making power and they need to engage with the community to help inform their decision-making. And there's lots of reasons why they engage the community. I'll save that for another video. But they're basically wanting to hear from people to inform the decisions that they make. So the way I'm describing community engagement these days is much more that top-down approach. So community engagement, very much about that decision maker being the traditional power holder, deciding how much influence the community is going to have over its decision making. Now this is where my business sits. I help those people to engage with that community well. And I've developed a fair amount of a reputation about being quite passionate about community having a voice, about that engagement process being really genuine and genuinely listening to and connecting with people. Now I firmly believe that I have got that approach because my background is community development. So, community engagement versus community development. Community engagement, think of it as top-down, decision maker, paternalistic approach to engagement. It's worked okay for the time being, but I think we need a shake-up. Community development, bottom-up approach, communities working together. I'm passionate about both of them. I think there's place for both, but I think community engagement can learn an awful lot from community development, and I'd like to see the two starting to work together more. Until next time, see ya!